Good afternoon. This is Micah Mitchell with Madison County Weather Updates and crystal clear weather. And as you can see in the lower left, please support this page. Help me continue to keep you all safe and aware. There are a lot of different ways that you can support this page financially. You can also, Facebook has changed the way they're doing their monetization. They're now only monetizing videos. So when I post videos, be sure that if you can't donate to the page or do monthly subscription to the page, please at least be sure that you watch the videos, click on the videos, react to them, comment on them, even with emojis. The more interaction with the videos there is and the more views they get, the more money the page can earn. I also want to thank all of our sponsors and our individual donors. And our longtime sponsors, Community Hospital of Anderson and Madison County Federal Credit Union, are the two longest term supporters of this page. They both have renewed for 2024. So I thank them. I thank Jeff Waitman Group. They've been a very generous donor to the page. My lovely wife, Joy Mitchell, Cincy Independent Consultant. If you need some smell goods or some scent warmers, be sure to get in touch with her. Meldon HVAC is a newer sponsor, but also has been very generous with their support of this page. True View Exteriors, that's actually Alex who helped found this page. That's his home restoration business, so you'll see more from him as we get into severe weather season. Jack's Pool Water has just joined on, and they are in conjunction with the same company that operates 7P HVAC. So welcome aboard to Jack's. Pool season's just right around the corner, so when you're ready to get your pool filled, definitely get in touch with them. Madison County Community Awareness Network has a Facebook page that has also been donating to the page and helping support this page and sharing the page. So check them out for the goings on around Madison County. My buddy Louis Keene at Uranus of Indiana. If you haven't had if you loved Goods ice cream, that's all that recipe is still there out at the ice cream shop. Go in and get they've got the most amazing fudge. Definitely go out and check out Uranus. Anderson Symphony Orchestra also, we just went to see the symphony this last Saturday, and it was amazing. Great violinists there. There are a couple more shows left in this season before longtime conductor Rick Sowers retires. So there are two more shows. Be sure you go see ASO. They are truly a hidden treasure in this city. Look Worthy, Face and Body Retreat, and then also Escobar Estates Real Estate. So I just wanted to take a minute, because I haven't done it in a long time, to acknowledge all of the sponsors. And I also thank you to all of you who are individuals who donate to this page and help keep it going. So let's get to the weather part of the show. And we're taking a look at the GFS model first. And we're going to take a kind of a panned out view so we can see the way things are going. Of course, we're really quiet right now in Indiana. We have a storm system that just dropped out and kind of traveled to our southwest and then to our south. And what we're going to see is, as we go through this, is a continuation of that pattern, and when we get warm shots of storms that actually go up and over. And so whether we get something here in Indiana is going to be a real crapshoot the way things have been progressing. So as we take a look, as we go through the week, it's all pretty quiet. And we can see just these low pressure systems out here, just very slow moving. Southern California has been getting inundated with rain. Some of those places out there have picked up anywhere from 6 to 9 inches of rain, and the rain continues. As you can see, this is up to Thursday, and the low pressure is still sitting out there over southwestern parts of California. So they're picking up tons of snow, on the order of feet up in the mountainous areas, and heavy rain down along the lower lying areas. We've got another low pressure system that will begin to have a little bit of an effect on us on Friday. You can see the core of the low pressure, it's a strong low, 991 low, so it's traveling up to the northwest of us. And as we advance into early Friday, we can see that we've got this frontal boundary that begins to develop some rainfall. This is in the pre-dawn hours of Friday. That timing I do think is correct. And And then as that will then move on, so much of Friday will actually be dry. The GFS wants to pop up another little wave, but you can kind of see this little dip right here. It's kind of a secondary front that will begin to step in our cool down. And so it's got a secondary wave of precipitation. This will be Friday evening. I'm not so sure about that, but we'll keep it in mind that it is possible as we get closer to that time frame. Then that will then move on, and we can kind of see the blue lines right here. That's where the colder upper level areas, and you can see we just are kind of hugging right on that boundary. This is in the pre-dawn hours of Sunday. As we get into Sunday, you can see another low pressure runs off to our south, and it kind of leaves us in between. Although the Canadian, pardon me, I got tongue tied there, actually sees that Sunday system a little differently, and I will show that to you here in just a minute. But you can see that scoots on off to the south. We kind of sit in the border of this colder air with another low pressure that runs off to our north. And then as we advance on, we can see just a parade of low pressures running off well off to our south. What's happened in the Bering Sea does kind of support the southern track. I mentioned that in a forecast a few days ago. I think Friday when I showed you some potential snowfall for this coming weekend, I did mention that the Bering Sea supported more of these systems running off to the south. And so then as we get closer, here's Valentine's Day morning, and what we'll watch is this little wave right here develop, and that will be a clipper that could then come through during the day on Valentine's Day into the early hours of the 15th. That would scoot on through, and again I'll show you here in a minute, but that would be a minimal snowfall for us. And then what we can see though is these systems just continue to run off the East Coast. We're not seeing a lot of turns up across the Ohio Valley or up the East Coast, and that's because there is currently no Greenland block. We need some blocking up over Greenland, a big high pressure sitting over Greenland to kind of detour these things and make them turn. And until we get that, these low pressures are just going to continue to drop in from the northwest, run off to our south, and then straight off at the East Coast. So the big question is, as we've had a sudden stratospheric warming event begin to take shape, will that should promote Greenland blocking? If it does, then as we get later in the month, we may begin to see these storms turn up through our area, and snow chances might increase. If that blocking does not develop, and not only doesn't develop, it doesn't develop in the right spot, then we may just get some cold and really get not much in the way of snow. So we'll just have to see how that pans out. And so as we continue on through the GFS loop here, we're out to the 18th, and we can see yet another storm running off to our south, another one running way off up into Canada and kind of leaving us in the middle. And we're just, GFS has us getting these dips from the northeast, and that's probably correct. That's what's been going on most of the season, where when we do get cold, other than the one big cold blast, the cold really has been dipping in, and we've just been kind of on the backside of these cold air masses that run off into southeastern Canada. So we get a little bit of the cold, but not really any of the precipitation that would go along with the cold. And that kind of takes us out through that. So we'll take a real quick look at the Canadian model. I'm running this video longer than I want, but I kind of want to give you some detail today. So we'll take a look here at the Canadian in just a second. So we'll pick the Canadian up here on Thursday. It's that same storm system that we were talking about a minute ago. The Canadian has a 992 low. The GFS had a 991. So they're pretty similar. The Canadian's a little farther to the southeast. It moves through, and you can see again, this will be Friday morning, maybe a little bit of precipitation around. Let me get off of the national view and go to a regional view so it's easier to see Indiana. Okay, so here's a more regional view. And again, we're in the pre-dawn hours of Friday morning. Here's about 7 o'clock Friday morning. And the thing I want you to see is that the Canadian is more scattered with this. And I really think this is right. I've been telling you, I think the precipitation Friday is a little more questionable than what some of the data has had. We'll see as it gets closer. But the Canadian kind of really doesn't give us a whole lot of precipitation on Friday. Then as we get into Sunday, it's actually more vigorous with this low pressure that the GFS suppresses way off to the south. The Canadian actually keeps the warmer air around a little bit longer until we get the secondary front. I actually think this is a little more correct of a solution. Again, it may be overdone, but I do think it's a little more of a correct solution, where we'd probably be looking more at some rainfall. This would be Sunday night into early Monday morning. You can see the Canadian has some significant snow going off to our northwest. Again, this is what's been happening all winter. There's no reason to think it's going to be any different. The Canadian, not so much on the clipper that follows, as it would run it farther off to the north. So we'll just see how that pans out as it gets closer. But again, there's going to be a precipitation chance on Friday. We're going to be warm throughout the week, probably pushing close to 60 on Friday. Let's take a look at the temperatures real quick. And here's the Canadian, again, because I think it's more correct. This is Friday afternoon. The Canadian has us right around 60 degrees, 58, 59, maybe 60 degrees. And again, I'm showing you this one because I think it is a little more correct. There you can see an initial front pass through Sunday or Saturday morning. Still close to 50 degrees on Saturday. And then again, you see the surge of warm air with the system on Sunday. And again, I think this is more correct. And then once it gets past, then we start to see a more substantial cold push, whereas the GFS is more modified through all that period. I think the Canadian may be a little more on to seeing the colder air pressing in more. Again, that will act to suppress the storm track to our south. So picking up snowfall, next week is going to be pretty sketchy. If we're going to have a chance, it's probably going to be with the system Sunday into Monday, or with a clipper next Monday into Tuesday. We're just going to have to see how it shapes up as it gets closer. Last thing we're going to take a look at here is going to be the European weeklies. And here, what we're looking for is here's low pressure systems that are kind of tracking through. This is valid Saturday into Sunday. And, what we'll just see is these low pressures running off to our south. And then we'll get surges of warmth in between. And then there's another storm system that runs off. This is around the 11th. Again, it's more northwest, kind of like the Canadian. It's actually farther northwest than the Canadian. I'm not sure that's correct, but we'll see it again as it gets closer. This is really a volatile pattern that's coming, because we're going to beginning to see the transition from a predominantly warm pattern to a predominantly cooler pattern. And so it's going to be more volatile, and it's going to be a little harder to figure out the storm tracks until they get closer. But you can just kind of see the type of activity that we'll be looking at as we go through, and kind of an up and down pattern. And what we'll end up with is occasionally these little dips that'll come through with some potential snow chances. This is out to February 28th. And you can see it just late in February, early in March is really when the European has our better chances for sustained cold and snow. And that's going all the way on out now to the very end of, or to the third week of March, where the European weeklies kind of have us in a more of a sustained colder pattern, with just some occasional bumps of warmth ahead of some storms, but a predominantly colder pattern going from Valentine's Day on out into the earlier parts of March. I'm going to show you one last thing, and then I'll be done with this long video. But again, I just wanted to give you more detail than I've been giving you. So here's a look at the European weeklies. This is snowfall at a 10-to-1 ratio going out 32 days, so through March 7th. And it's kind of hard to see, but here we've got Madison County sitting somewhere around 6.1 inches of snow. And that's, again, not to be taken exact. It just shows that even if we get snow, there's nothing saying that we're going to get a significant snowstorm. That's really what it's going to take for us to get up to an average winter, is we're going to have a big snowstorm that drops 8 to 12 inches of snowfall, plus some other snows in order to get us up to average. And going out through the early part of March, predominantly again, the European has us late February into early March picking up some snow, but not a ton of it. This is 6.1 inches through February or through March 7th. And as we take a look and go on out the rest of its way out 46 days, has us picking up not quite 9 inches of snow through March 21st. So that would get us up, somewhere in the 15 to 18, say 15 to 20 inch snowfall range, somewhat average, kind of on a little below average. We average somewhere around 20 inches of snow for a winter. So this is kind of what the European is spitting out at us, that we would finish somewhere between average to maybe 5 inches below average by the time the snow season's done. I do think once we're getting into the middle to third week of March, I think winter is going to be done by then. There's some hints that there might not be the case with the polar vortex, but the coldest part of the polar vortex looks like it's going to be heading for Europe. So we'll just be getting some shots of colder air. So I really think this mid-February to maybe this mid-March at the latest is going to be our last really sustained shot of winter, and then I think we'll jump into more spring-like weather. And that's some long-range speculation, but I just wanted to kind of show you some of the possibilities going out there. So again, just to recap, expect some scattered rain Friday morning, maybe again Friday evening, but I don't think Friday is going to be a washout by any stretch of the imagination. Then we'll have to watch and see what the system on Sunday does, whether it goes well to our northwest or whether it comes through and gives us rain. Then once that system passes, that's when the colder air is really going to try to surge in here better. So next week I expect us to be average to colder than average, and for that to last then going throughout the remainder of February into early March. So that's a lot of information on you. It's probably a long video, but I just wanted to touch on that and give you a good idea of what's coming. So I'll do some more of these videos. That'll be a little shorter and a little shorter spans, but this is a longer range look. And with that, I will be quiet and let you enjoy your day. Again, please click on these videos, watch these videos. Average watch time on the videos, as I look at Facebook, is less than 2 minutes. So most of you probably aren't even watching the video at this point. But again, support the page if you can, support our sponsors, and have a great day. This is Micah Mitchell with Madison County Weather Updates and Crystal Clear Weather. Thank you.